basketball championship game Saturday night in Baltimore. Stone died early Saturday morning in a car crash outside of Montgomery, Alabama. The CIAA is made up of HBCU schools. Virginia State defeated Bluefield State 71-64 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Who cares about the Black community in Altadena? We do. On Saturday, March 8th at 10 a.m., it's the premiere of Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr. This new weekly show will explore the deep roots and resilience of Altadena's Black community as we track its recovery and reimagine its future. From relief efforts to rebuilding, we're raising up voices, stories, and solutions to build back Black Altadena better and stronger than ever. It's Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr every Saturday at 10 a.m. beginning Saturday, March 8th with an encore presentation Sundays at noon.
James Farr, the man who is the voice for Black Los Angeles.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your Black.
Seems like everyone is running from the truth. We just stand up and fight, walk into the night. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody ask me, why do we have to go through it? It's just the test of our faith. But we're living day to day. We don't know where, we don't know when. But he's coming back again. Oh, yes, he is. It's late me. Oh, God, it's time for you to return. Oh, me. I know. Gotta make a change.
Oh, yeah, it's that time. It's truth time. Time to make that change, to talk about that change, to be that change. All of that today. Dr. West and I count it all joy for us to be together on this grand day. We will explore, did the economic blackout work, where people decided for one day, February 28th, not to shop at all? What impact did it have? And are there other ways to resist that have longer lasting impacts? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And then the federal jobs, the cuts that federal jobs are having on Black people, especially the fact that a lot of the Black middle class was built from government jobs. What is happening? Are we going backwards in 2025? Oh, yeah, the good doctor and I are going to talk about that. And speaking of the doctor, he is in the house right now. Dr. Cornel West, what is on your heart, your soul, and your mind on this grand day?
My dear sister, I must say that Angie Stone passing hit me very hard.
Yeah.
Straight out of Columbia, South Carolina. I wish I didn't miss you. I remember that song way back when. One of the great first woman hip hop artists, first album. She just had a heart of gold. I had a number of times to meet her and give her a hug, and the very fact that 63 years old, she could be gone that quickly just gives us a sense of, look like everywhere you look, you just see more death, more decay, more decline. You know, you look in the White House Oval Office and you see the blowback of the American empire with expansion of NATO, pushing Russia against the wall. And then the gangster Putin has his criminal invasion of Ukraine. But of course, it was the United States that said that NATO would not move 1 inch in 1991.
Yeah.
They brought in so many different countries. So it was right on the border. It would be like if Russia had missiles in Mexico and Canada. We know that the United States would blow them into smithereens, so that Putin's gangsterism is real, but of course his back's against the wall and he feels as if he had to invade. It was wrong, it was criminal, but it's the blowback of the United States empire, NATO as an extension of of American hegemony around the world. And we see the same things going on in Africa and Caribbean in terms of U.S. hegemony. After what? Resources. So then you have the dialogue in the Oval Office. What was it about? It was about the minerals, trying to get the minerals. You see how gangster that is? Just full of greed. It's unbelievable. And then the Ukrainian people, precious as they are, they suffer in between the two empires. But we got to keep track of the U.S. empire, that it has been out of control, and Trump now is making it more visible. It's more raw. It's undeniable. And the question becomes, what does one do? What does resistance look like? What does truth-telling really, really look like? That's going to be a challenge for each and every one of us, but we need our musicians like Angie Stone, because she was a truth teller at the deepest level. Remember when she was with D'Angelo? That's another genius too. You got two geniuses together.
Oh yeah, that was too hot to handle, Doc. And
that was kind of rich when you get rich from Virginia and Columbia, South Carolina. Oh Lord, have mercy. Good.
Yeah, I'm one of my favorite Angie Stone songs, and I was just listening to her. I listen to her at least several times a week because she's in a playlist of mine. But Black Brothers, I love you. Place no one above you. I was listening to that song, and Brother Tavis Smiley's interview with her. I mean, just how timely and how, it tugged at my heartstrings, because we just never know on any given day. We assume that we're going to see somebody again.
Isn't that the truth? But there was so much love between Tavis and our dear sister in that interview, though. You could feel it, though, couldn't you?
Oh,
love and respect at the deepest level. I mean, that's the only thing that's going to keep us going in these dim and grim times. That's the only thing that's going to keep us going, that kind of love.
Yeah, that kind of love, that deep kind of love.
Absolutely.
But like you said, the U.S. empire is out of control. I totally agree with you. When we come forward, we will continue to talk about that and so much more. You're listening to Truth Time.
Speaking truth to power and to the powerless. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
There's new reaction following the Trump administration's sweeping efforts to cut the federal workforce.
Fired but not forgotten. The Testimony Project. Bearing witness, breaking silence, building community. KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to amplifying the voices of Black federal workers impacted by the mass firings. Rooted in the Black tradition of testimony, this initiative ensures that those who served us are not erased from history. Through firsthand accounts, investigative storytelling, and community-driven dialogue, we intend to expose injustice, preserve truth, and demand accountability. If you or someone you know has been forced out of federal employment due to the mass firings, please contact us at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or via the open mic feature on the KBLA 1580 app. We want to hear from you and share your story. KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
To thine own self be true. More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner coming your way right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, yeah. So good. So, Doc, the empire is out of control as you were laying out. Also, thinking about the life and just the wonderful music and love that the one and only Angie Stone had. And her spirit lives on through her music. And that incredible interview that Brother Tavis Smiley lifted up on his show today had me a little misty. I'm so glad that he did it. Yeah, so glad.
Same here, my dear sister. Good God Almighty.
Yeah, listen, on that note, while we're talking about that, just want to encourage folks who've joined us today. If there's somebody that you love, don't assume. Never assume that you're going to see them again. Anything could happen. So hug them, love on them, send them a text, a message in the bottle, do something. Let them know how much they are appreciated. And moments like this, Dr. West, hopefully causes all of us to reflect on the people in our lives that mean so much and never to make an assumption, because anything can happen at any time. We don't necessarily think that way all the time. And it's a heaviness to think. You shouldn't necessarily think that way all the time, but just to be cognizant of the fact and not take for granted, I guess is a better way to say, that we will see somebody that we love again.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we fight. That's why we keep swinging and laughing and loving and organizing and mobilizing, because the love that we have for the quick and the memories of our loved ones who are now passed are so much a part of who we are and what we are, and constitute wind behind our back in regard to what we do.
Yeah, that is so very true. And speaking of what we do, I think that is a good segue into the economic blackout. Will 24 hours make a difference? So we know that there was a national call for people to not shop on one day, just for 24 hours, in the hopes of making businesses feel the pain of not getting that dollar or those dollars into their doors on one day. The question becomes, does that really work? And I certainly, Doctor, you and I had a little conversation about that. When people are motivated to take action, all for it, love it, then we need to ask a question beyond that. Does this get at the actual result that those who organized in terms of protest, does it get you the lasting result that you want? And so there are mixed feelings about something like this, because we know that as human beings, just practically, if I'm going to join you in a 24-hour boycott, then that means I'm going to get what I need the day before or get what I need days after. So that company or sets of companies are going to probably not really lose anything at all. In terms of a consciousness calling, all for it. There are people who participated in it, who believed that they were really going to have an impact, and for them that meant something. And so I want to salute those people who at least said, for 24 hours, I am going to participate in community with others who are fighting for justice. So as a practical matter, but taking it even further as a tactical and strategic matter, does 24-hour boycotts really do anything that hurt or gets the attention of those companies that you are trying to get their attention?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, on one hand, we have to do something. And the question becomes, what are the many things that we do? I think if we're going to be thoroughly effective, we're going to have a national strike. We're going to have to just shut the country down. You see, when the enslaved brothers and sisters were trying to break the back of American slavery, they had what Du Bois called a general strike, which was 200,000 black men, enslaved Africans, left the plantations physically. They just left. Now they joined the army, but it was the leaving of the plantations that led toward the economic implosion as well as the military incursion. And same is true in terms of workers in modern conditions in factories. Same is true with serfs under feudalism. The only thing that poor people have that's thoroughly effective, that gets the attention of ruling classes, is national strikes or creating chaos with rebellions. That's all we have.
Yeah, that is
That's all
so
we
true.
have. And historically, all black people have had between those two is the latter. It's just the chaos producing capacities of black folk in terms of the various black rebellions. You get the attention of folk. And the sad thing is that the Wall Street and Silicon Valley, big tech and big corporations, they are so accommodated to Trump now. I've been reading pieces in the newspaper. Steve Rattler just had a piece. All of his friends talking in private about how crazy they are about Trump, how they so glad DEI is gone. They never believed in it in the first place. They can get back to where they really want to be, which is making money, and all of this woke stuff is something they couldn't stand. You say, oh, isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, it's obvious that that's where they wanted to be in the first place.
Exactly.
They responded so quickly to President Trump that, make your head spin. So it's not the problem, Doc, as I see it, is not just President Donald J. Trump. It is the corporatists of this country who are in some ways, see, this is not just about accommodating him. In some ways, he's accommodating them. Let's go and flip the script on this and call it what it really is. He's a conduit for what they lack the courage to do. And so now they get to hide behind him in this thin veil of what they've always wanted to do. I'm rereading Faces at the Bottom of the Well.
Ooh, yeah, Derek Bell, we love you. Woo.
Boy, I'm on fire. I encourage folks who are joining us, you need to get that, listen to it, or pick it up, however you got to get it. And his premise was that anti-Black racism was always going to be a part of the fabric of America, no matter what we did. Now, he took it a step further. He didn't say don't resist. And we talk about that all the time, that the power of resistance, the spiritual nature of resistance, the way that resistance lifts your spirit. But Brother Derek Bell went on, a constitutional attorney, bad to the bone, just laid it out like it is. Do not think for one moment that this country is going to change its fundamental roots. And we look all around us. So I want to flip that premise. And then, for folks that are going to engage with us through the YouTube viewers, I would be interested to know how some of them feel about the overlay that it's not so much Trump. It is Trump and it's them. Because if it was just Trump, it would be easier. But it's not just President Trump, it's them too. They're hiding behind him. This is what they always wanted to do. And based on that article that Brother Ratner wrote, I don't think we far off the mark here.
No, it's true. That ruling class has been riding saddle for a long, long time. That's why both parties, again, just so thoroughly corrupt and accommodated to corporate power and accommodated to the kind of greed that makes it difficult for poor and working people to live lives of decency and dignity and gain access to resources. But now on a global scale, you see that it was interesting. Trump was talking about possibilities of World War III. And it's true that Russia has, more nuclear missiles than the United States. But China, the war with China is escalating as well. The Middle East is still out of control. We don't know how long that ceasefire is going to be in place. And the relations of what goes on in Israel on the one hand and the United States on the other are so intertwined that the lives of Palestinians look as if they have no weight whatsoever. And therefore, you have gangsters who are able to do what they want to do in the Middle East. How do we resist the gangsterization of the world? This is what we're This is what we're wrestling with right now. And white supremacy is so intertwined in it, as well as predatory capitalist processes of just money, 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 greed, 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 lies, 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 crimes, crimes, crimes.
And it's the same spirit. I mean, I hope folks understand the same spirit that would confess that they're glad that Trump is in. They're glad that they could do away with DEI. Because really, what's wrong with diversity, equity, and inclusion? You would think that that is part of the framing of a more perfect union, even though the framers of the Constitution, within themselves had their own contradictions, no doubt about it. But if we just take the words, you would think that trying to atone for wrong would be a good thing to do. So the same spirit that can confess that they are happy to see this is the same spirit that doesn't want to see universal health care. It's the same spirit that doesn't care about the mothers, the fathers, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, or the children. Nobody in the Gaza, the Congo, Haiti, you name the place. That these are not separate spirits or energies. It is the same energy. It is a world order that has no use for working class people from all backgrounds, just widgets. You mean nothing to these people. And they are in total control. And President Donald J. Trump just happens to be their conduit. But they don't have clean hands. They are just as bad and rotten as he is on this subject.
Well, they're all part of the same rotten system. Absolutely. So it's less a perfect union. It's more about a profitable enterprise.
Come on.
It's really just, it's about profits. That's the end and aim of it. Look at the fossil fuels tied to pushing back renewable energy, when renewable energy is cheaper and better, allows for the possibility of the planet being around. No, they want short-term profits. They want gains. They want money. They want revenues. That's what you see in the White House. Trump is just the crystallization of that kind of gangsterization.
Yeah.
He's raw, and he's just very honest about the obsession with just money and spectacle and image. But you're absolutely right. The system's been in place a long time, and it's a global system, so that it's around the world. They want world dominance. American empire wants world dominance, but it will not get it, because every empire comes and goes, and most empires begin to decay because of military overreach. United States has that because of massive corruption of elites. United States has that because of impotence of citizens. United States has that, and the spiritual emptiness, because you don't have access to the best of your past, the best of your history. So that Martin King and the others, they become just jokes. They become not even afterthoughts, but almost non-thoughts and empty gestures every January. And so what do? We keep fighting, keep telling the truth, and don't sell out. Just be true to ourselves. That's bottom line. What else can you do in that situation,
We keep pushing. So back to the folks who organize. Dr. West and I went around a couple of blocks to pull all this back in. To go back to the people who organized, the People's Union is the name of the organization. They made it clear that they're not affiliated with any political party, but just trying to bring people together to do something to resist. The next step to that is to plan resistance that has a longer shelf life that can make a deeper impact. They do plan another broad-based economic blackout, and that is for March the 28th. But it's also organizing boycotts targeting specific retailers like Walmart and Amazon, as well as global food giants Nestle and General Mills. This reporting is coming from the Griot, and we appreciate them for that. We got people getting together, believing that they can make a difference and taking action. There's nothing wrong with that. I love to see it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You got to do something. You just don't want to deceive yourself and think that you're having more impact than you're actually having, but that's all right. You do what you can, but you're building towards something bigger, because in the end, we're going to have a massive form of unity against the fascism, against the white supremacy, against the organized greed, and against the imperial policies around the world.
And when you mention the general strike, of which President Sean Fain, the president of the UAW, has been talking about this since last year in terms of organizing, and he's not the only one, but he's one of the bigger names. The UAW showed us how to do it, along with other labor unions in the Summer of Solidarity, in terms of shaking these corporations to the core and letting them know that people power is real. But this whole conversation about a general strike, our brother Christian Smalls is in on this too, and we salute him so much. He's Asa Philip Randolph of the 25th century.
That's right.
Of the 21st century, excuse me, 2025.
That's right.
Yeah, he is. But that general strike will definitely shake things up. And so these conversations are happening. Planning is happening right now, because you cannot just get into 2028 and say, oh, we're going to have a general strike. If there is to be a general strike come 2028, which it may need to happen a little sooner than that. But if it is to happen in 2028, you got to plot, plan, strategize, and organize right now in this moment, to quote our dear brother, Michael Render, aka Killer Mike. But yeah, Doc, that general strike is pretty much going to be the only thing that will get the attention of these corporatists. And how do we get people prepared to do it right now? I think things like this initiative is one of many. The People's Union is one way. When we come forward, Dr. West and I will continue to explore the economic blackout, give you a list of some other things that are happening as people organize. You are listening to Truth Time.
The truth will set you free, but first it might raise your blood pressure.
I'm not driving you, baby.
More of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner when we come forward.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Pope Francis has taken another turn. In an afternoon update, the Vatican said the Pope suffered 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure. He is receiving ventilation. Francis has been in the hospital due to bronchitis and pneumonia. There are about 3 million African-American Catholics in the U.S. Forecasters are predicting a large storm system will bring blizzard conditions and possible tornadoes to much of the U.S. this week. President Trump's tariffs on Mexico and Canada will officially go into effect Tuesday. Last week in a Truth Social post, President Trump said illegal drugs continue to pour across the border in what he called very high and unacceptable levels, despite pledges from both neighbors to boost security. Over 1.5 million Black people live in Canada. On Sunday at the Oscars, Paul Tazewell became the first Black man to win Best Costume Design. I'm Tyreek Wynn on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
You asked for it. 9 new dates added. You won't want to miss. For the Record presents Tarantino Pulp Rock, the immersive live experience that will blow you away. Come kill it with us. Ends April 6th, only at the Cinevita, next to SoFi Stadium. Get your tickets now.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers' winning streak is now at 6. Last night's 108-102 win over the Clippers at Crypto.com moved the Lakers into second place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City is on top in the West, 10 games ahead of the surging Lakers. The Lakers' 18-4 record is the best in the NBA over the past 6 weeks. Luka Doncic led the Lakers last night with 29 points and 9 assists. Rookie forward Dalton Knecht dropped 19 off the bench. The Lakers are back in action Tuesday night against New Orleans. The Clippers are at Phoenix on Tuesday. R&B singer Angie Stone was on her way to perform at the CIAA Men's Basketball Championship game Saturday night in Baltimore. Stone died early Saturday morning in a car crash outside of Montgomery, Alabama. The CIAA is made up of HBCU schools. Virginia State defeated Bluefield State 71-64 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Fatherhood includes being present during pregnancy, delivery, and beyond, supporting your partner and advocating for your baby's health. Black fathers play a key role in reducing maternal and infant health inequalities. Join the free AIM Fatherhood Program and make a difference. Visit blackinfantsandfamilies.org/fatherhood.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like to inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that, like George and Weezy,
We're moving on now.
earlier this year, we were named as semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. You ready? KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th. At 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
I'm back.
Beautiful indeed. So, Doc, you came in hot telling us that the U.S. empire is absolutely out of control. We lifted up the memory of Sister Angie Stone, her legacy, and how she poured into us musically will definitely live on forever. And that is a beautiful thing. And the economic blackout, how people are getting together just to do something, to do anything. What are the strategies that we can utilize to fight against what has become the corporate states of America? It's always been this way, actually, but in our lifetime, it has taken on a different and new form. It is the same energy, though, folks. Never forget that. Before we dive back into that conversation, Dr. West, I want to bring forward some of the comments from folks who have joined us via YouTube. And we want to thank you all, no matter where you're listening, how you're listening. We thank you. But here we go on YouTube. Blessed Peacemaker, per usual. Hello, Blessed Peacemaker. Being the change. Greetings, Dr. West and Senator Turner. You got Sister Selena Ricks. Truth Time with a black fist and a heart. Loving you so much. Labrick Productions LLC. Hello, independent presidential candidate Brian Arlington. Respectfully love you, Doc. So that's to you, Doc.
That's beautiful.
Rest peacefully, Queen, making reference to Sister Angie Stone. Let me get Shayla Johnson, who's one of our regulars too. Hello, Sister Shayla. She said the gangster mindset is just more open now. It has been this way throughout U.S. history. No? Question mark. Called by different names, the gangsters are still the same. Go on, Sister Shayla. Called by a different name, the gangsters are still the same. Just really laying it out. Like they in here. Pastor Harold, beautiful. Hey, Pastor Harold, thank you so much for joining us. So a lot, Doc. So that's it for now. We're going to thank everybody. We can't get to all of them, but we really do appreciate those of you who do take up your time to participate in the thread that is on YouTube, Doc. Just a lot of love in there. And getting back to Sister Shayla Johnson, just different players. The same play.
Isn't that the truth? You know, I was thinking, I mean, we need that strike next week, but we're not organized enough to do it. But I'll never forget what Brother Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., because we got Jesse Jackson Jr. doing his magnificent thing with us on this station, that he said that at the end of Martin's life, Martin was so full of desperation that he was thinking about fasting unto death, very much like his hero, Gandhi, who had said he was going to fast unto death in India in order to deal with the crisis. And when you reach the point where you feel as if you're running out of the kinds of forms of resistance that are effective, then you start thinking of fasting unto death.
Yeah.
General strikes. What else can we do? How do we proceed? How do we remain true to the love and courage that's been put into us by our parents and churches and mosques and synagogues and political organizations and things? No, we have to be strategic and tactical in terms of understand what we're dealing with, but we got to do something given the depths and scope of the desperation.
Agreed. The desperation, the decay. And we are in a beautiful place just to even have people think about doing something. So to the People's Union, planning another broad-based economic blackout on March 28th. Everybody stay tuned to that. And whatever you can put your hands to do that. And maybe join some others. In the Griot article, Doc, they lifted up other activities that are going on to fight against these corporations and what they are doing. So they named my group, We Are Somebody. That boycott of Target was launched.
Yes, well, let's mention that again.
On February 1st, and I'm doing that with my dear sister Tamika Mallory and the team over there at Until Freedom, and others have come aboard that, working with Pastor Jamal Bryant. So Pastor Bryant, organized a website called targetfast.org, where he's recruiting, and they hit the number already. They wanted 100,000 people to sign up to fast, and that fast will start on Ash Wednesday through Easter. And the fast is don't go to Target from Ash Wednesday. So all of these things are building on.
No, we salute Brother Jamal. Reverend Brian. I've known him since he was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts. But I salute my dear brother. He just had me just last year at his church. But absolutely, we salute him.
Definitely salute him. And then you got the Reverend Al Sharpton, of course, the founder and president of the National Action Network. And he's been, would identify 2 companies in the next 90 days that will be boycotted for abandoning diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, and it's probably so many others. I definitely got to shout out our sisters and brothers and family and friends who are actually in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, who Sister Nakima is leading a group of people where the Target headquarters is. And Target in particular, after the death of George Floyd, rightfully, the president came out and said that could have been one of my employees. And because I feel this deeply about it, I'm going to do something about it. And that's when he made the pledge to spend $2 billion with Black-owned companies between that time, 2020 and 2025, to increase the workforce of Black Americans at Target. So he made all of these promises that were both morally sounded and economically sounded too. It wasn't just doing the right thing for the sake of it. You can do well and do good at the same time. So if it was the right time and the right thing to do in 2020, isn't it still the right time and the right thing to do in 2025? That's the piercing question here.
Well, that's where the lack of consistency, that's where the hypocrisy comes in. In the end, they didn't really mean it. Their fundamental commitments to money and profit and private gain. You say, I wish you all had been as explicit, hadn't been misleading folk. All of us were not misled, but they had been misleading a whole lot of people. I'm telling you.
And you tend to take these people at face value, and sometimes you just you can't do it. I mean, corporations, by and large, there are a few exceptions. There are some corporations and corporate leaders who understand that the path that this nation is going down is not the right path. There are some people in the ultra wealthy category who understand that this is untenable. There's some. However, the vast majority follow the model of the United States of America, and that is the more wealth you have, you're seen as somehow more capable, more smart. If you are poor or lacking in economic resources, then somehow you brought this upon yourself. In this country, the motto is to worship at the feet of corporate interests and wealth interests and leave behind the vast majority of the everyday people in this nation, Doc. And that in itself is untenable and it's wrong. Just because you got a lot of money don't make you smarter than anybody else. It means that the system is bending to your will. I know a whole bunch of brothers and sisters in the hood where they are misunderstood who are absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But Leon Trotsky said in Mexico right before he was killed by Stalin's cronies that the United States was in need of a revolution, but not capable of a revolution, only capable of a counter-revolution. And what he meant by that, the weight of capitalism and white supremacy is so heavy in the making of the country that when liberalism collapses, and neoliberalism collapses, that bankruptcy would more than likely move toward fascism than it would anything else.
Yes.
And so then the question becomes of what happened for those of us who are critical of both the neoliberalism in place, bankrupt, and the fascism, which is barbaric. What do we do in such a country? When the country's that sick, when the system's that corrupt, when the worst of the history surfaces to the top and the chickens come home to roost, what does one do? Well, you got to be true to yourself. You got to bear witness. You got to somehow keep your integrity and honesty and decency, keep organizing, keep mobilizing, but highly aware that you got to understand yourself on a global stage, not just on a national stage.
That's it. The diagnosis. First thing the doctor does is find out what's wrong with the patient.
What's wrong with the patient?
We try to fix it. That's what we're trying to do here. Oh, my goodness. Keep this up. When we come forward, we will continue this conversation. You are listening to Truth Time on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hardworking, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there too to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Truth crushed to earth shall rise again. You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, what do we do in the face of all this gangsterism? We continue to push on, Doc. I want to go back to some other of our thread on YouTube. You have Lemon Exhaustion, love and peace to y'all. I just wanted to ask, where could I find Teaching Thursdays? I keep missing it. But please make sure you download the KBLA Talk app, and that is where you can find our Teaching Thursday. So glad that folks are enjoying that, Dr. West. And then we have Alexander Mershon, a question. Senator, do you have any thoughts you could share about what Hakeem Jeffries had to say about what can we do? And this is being in reference to the DNC as a monolith. Wow. Well, you know what, Alexander, I want Dr. West to get in on this too. I mean, according to, so Hakeem Jeffries, just not assuming everybody knows, is the leader of the Democrats in the United States House of Representatives. He did a question and answer session and basically gave up then. He said they have all the leverage. Now, that is what he has said. Not sure if he has since changed his mind on that, but basically the Democrats are giving up, giving in, and giving out. And then you have others within that Democratic Party, what you call them, Dr. What, milquetoast, neoliberals, telling people to play dead.
That's right.
Telling them to play dead, Doc.
Retreat. No, Brother Hakeem and Brother Carville, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're blinded by having such an uncritical allegiance to a corrupt Democratic Party that refuses to really want to confront the truth about itself and the truth about the country. And so when you're locked in that way, there's not a whole lot left for you to say and do. This is part of the problem. You see what I mean? And they don't have the courage of yourself and the others who are still trying to be honest and candid about how you somehow try to hold on to that truth and justice, and at the same time be as strategic as one can, given the terrain in which one finds oneself in the country. But they lack that kind of integrity, and they're not the only ones, but we just have to call it for what it is. They just lack that kind of integrity and courage.
We are diagnosing the patient. Okay, that's the diagnosis, and straight out of their mouths. You're right, Carville straight up said, "Just play dead." And so, for people of economic means like them, they can afford to play dead, but the everyday people of this country cannot afford for them to, one, play dead, and two, for the Republican Party to do what it's doing with its faux populism, claiming that it cares about the everyday working class people of this country, when in actuality, they absolutely do not, by their actions. This shock and awe that they're doing, but their actions. President Donald J. Trump could have just as swiftly as he came up against DEI, could have increased the federal minimum wage, done away with the sub minimum wage. I mean, there's a whole litany of things, Doc, that the man could have done if he was serious about being a populist.
Absolutely. No, there's no doubt about that. But as we've said before, that Donald Trump is as much a populist as I am a Norwegian born a couple of weeks ago in the cold, in the dark. And I ain't got nothing against Norway. Henrik Ibsen is one of my close companions as a great playwright that he was. But let's just be honest. Let's just be candid. Quit lying. Quit lying, Trump.
Quit lying. Be honest and candid. That is what we do on Truth Time. When we come forward, we will continue our exploration for this day. You're listening to Truth Time.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll want a sheet on your every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
This is where love and truth meet.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You're listening to Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner.
Indeed, you are. So get involved in one of the organizations and movements that are happening around sending a message to corporate America. Do that. Do what you can where you are with what you have. You can be a part of this change. We want to make sure that you do that. Did the economic blackout work? Maybe not in ways that we wanted it to in terms of really having a long-term impact, but short-term, yes, because it got people to organize and they can spread that on to other actions that are happening. And then, Doc, we wanted to explore very quickly the Black middle class and the impact that all of these layoffs are having on all of the federal workers who are now become enemy of the state as defined by the Trump administration. Those are jobs that have a lot of their service, they're public service just like anybody else, but they've turned something that is virtuous into something that is not. And the particular impact that it is having on the Black community. Shout out to KBLA Talk 1580 for having a testimony session where they're calling on Black federal workers to come and tell their stories. But nearly 30% of the workers in the Department of Education, Black, according to a 2024 report by the Education Department. And in other departments, Black people are taking a hit because they are disproportionate to our numbers in the population, work for the federal government in service positions, which ultimately should be a good thing. It is very bizarre to me to have the American people turn on those workers. You have some members of Congress telling those people to get a real job, that what they're doing is not worthy. I mean, that's just not normal, doctor. Just turn on your fellow sisters and brothers like that who are working and are part of the middle class and contributing not only to society, but are public servants in their own right.
No, that's real. You know, my Uncle Earl got a job at the post office because of racism in the private sector and private businesses was so thick, so that historically Black America's always had a middle class disproportionately dependent on public sector jobs, federal jobs. And now when you get the attack on poor people, working people, Black people across the board, it affects the middle class too, because historically we've been more dependent on federal jobs, and therefore Musk and others going in with their chainsaws and cutting them off, they're going to be left dangling, and that's going to radicalize them, though. That's going to get them to see that, lo and behold, their destiny is as much tied with Jamal and Letitia in the hood as it is with the sororities and fraternities and the boulets. So all of a sudden now the class issues, which have always been there, now are so intertwined with the race issues, because the racism and the classism come together. And probably did they have a breakdown on the gender?
Mainly women. Yeah, Black women. Oh yeah, they did, Doc.
That's what I was
absolutely they did. That's where it's at. And you know, the original clash was chattel slavery. Okay, y'all gonna say that 3, 4, 5 times real fast. The original clash was chattel slavery in the United States. Yeah, they doing it. It's anti-Blackness at its worst. This is the United States of America. We thank you so much for joining us today. The great Barbara Jordan once said, what the people want is very simple. My Nina note, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as it's promised. We're going to keep fighting for that. This is Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Nina Turner. We want you to be purposeful in everything that you do. Until next time.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 Things You Should Know with